Day. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Kaki Lee, if you don't know her, but you should know her, is a founder of Cashflow Queen. After a 20-year career in pharmacy, she now teaches women how to build lazy wealth. How good does that sound? From stock market through calm, consistent cash flow strategies. She believes money should buy freedom because freedom is the best medicine. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this conversation today. So, where are you coming from today? In the world are you?
I am in Perth, Australia, so it's 9:30 p.m. over here.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us in that hour. Now, tell me, do you work with women globally?
Yes, I do. So I've got clients in the US and Australia mainly. I've had a few clients in Europe, but I think the time zone difference is a bit tricky, and Asia as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it can get a little tricky. Yeah, for sure. But I love that you're finding a way because that's such an important message. Now, to build a business, even a lazy wealth business, it takes at first a lot of effort. And I don't even like to say hard work because to me, hard work sounds physical, where a lot of work to build a business is actually more mental and more creative. And some people will say it comes with some sacrifice. What is something that you're unwilling to sacrifice no matter how busy life gets when it comes to your health and your well-being overall?
Mm. For me, it is definitely my writing. So it's very important for me to do my writing. I used to do handwritten journaling, but now I've actually moved to doing on the computer and it's been phenomenal. So that is really important and my sanity. So really just not allowing others to cross my boundaries.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. I love that. The thing is, what you just mentioned, I love it because it's not the physical. I mentioned on this one of the interviews, I asked a while ago what people think when word health comes up. And people usually think right away physical, like how can I go up a flight of stairs without being out of breath, or how long can I run, or anything like that. And you said writing, which is so important for mental health, so important for emotional health. Because if you don't, probably for you, if you don't get it out on paper, if you don't get it out of your body, it stays there and it lingers there and it affects you in many different ways. So I love
Yeah.
that you said that. And then the boundaries, of course, Queen has to speak on boundaries.
Yes.
So I know that, we've recently met and I've seen you do a lot of, hey, I'm taking time for myself. Hey, I'm traveling with my family. Hey, like obviously you're representing lazy wealth, which I love. But I want to go more into that self-care because to me that includes self-care, right? Like self-care is not just massages and spas, although that sounds amazing. It's more about how am I making sure that I stay fresh and sane so that I can be as creative and perform to the best of my ability in front of my clients or for my business or for my family. So why has taking care of yourself become important to you?
Mm. I've had seasons of my life where I didn't take care of myself, and it really affected my mental health and emotional health. So, when I talked about writing before, if my mental and emotional health aren't good, my physical health, I can't even think about my physical health. So, for me, that is like very, very important to take care of that. And I just completely forgot your question. Oh yes, about my why it's important because having a young family as well, showing up for them, being a role model for my kids, I think has been like one of the biggest things for me to not just showcase the looking after myself, but everything I do to show them like women are capable and we are just more than just mums or just what we do in our career and be able to do it in a way that mum's not always stressed out. You know,
Yeah,
mum's not always
yes.
angry and stressed and just frazzled and not have time for them. You can. spend a lot of time with your kids, but it's the quality, not the quantity. So that's why it's become so important for me to look after my health because I have been in those seasons where I was emotionally fried and I was just a complete mess, and it's not good for the family
Yeah.
because I am the anchor. The women is the anchor for the family. They set the emotional tone for the family. So that's why for me it's very important that my family runs as a unit, and that means looking after myself.
Yes. Oh, this is such an important thing to mention because women see that as selfish, right? Like we come from generations of women who didn't necessarily put themselves first and who look at that as a selfish thing, right? And there's still this stigma. Like I know for me, when I started really taking care of myself, it's always that like, but how do I take away my time from my son? But then I have to do it to make me better. So that way, when I'm present, I'm better. And there really is this transition, right? Because we were never taught that. So there is this transition to really work on not allowing guilt to come in because the payoff is big. You're present for your family, you're there for your kids, you're listening to them, laughing with them, you're in the moment rather than just physically being there but absent. And then we don't even know what we talked about, and kids feel that. They feel when a person is not there. And we see a
Yeah.
lot of that these days. So I love that you're talking about the depth of self-care in the sense of it's not just, oh, I need to go to the gym. It's so much more than that. And it impacts so many people around us. And, obviously our little ones are the most important ones. Now,
Yes.
what are some of the things you do consistently that you would say maybe most women overlook that contributes to your overall well-being?
Mm. For me, writing is very, very, very important. Can't stress that enough. And if you don't do writing, even if you speak it out so that is out of your system, that's very important. And walking, for me, walking and moving my body is very important. So I have a PT that I go to twice a week. And if the weather permits, then I go for a walk every day after I drop my girls off at school. So they're two of the things that are very important to me. I started fasting probably like I have fasted on and off, but very consistently in the last 8 months or so. And I found that really beneficial for me because fasting, helps you renew your body and lets your body do its thing. So I know it's not for everyone, but for me, it has had a profound impact. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, it's not for everyone. It has to be done right. And it has to be done in a way where we listen to our body. And based on everything you're saying, you're very body aware. Because if we just go into something like, oh, I hear about this protocol, 16-8 or 5-2, whatever, and then we do it and follow it because it's a protocol rather than because my body wants it or needs it, that's the failure. Like I've had clients who are like, I have 1 more hour before I eat. I'm like, that is not building a healthy relationship with food. We need to cut that off. And it's hard because you kind of, again, want to do that perfectly. And it's really about learning what your body needs in this season. So fasting works for you and
Yes.
it works for you right now. There may be a season when you're like, because that's what I did. I fasted. I did different kinds of fasting, but it was like I ate once a day and I loved it for
Yes.
months. And then it started like, it's not working for me. So then I added another meal and now I have a little different schedule. And that's what it is. Once we're in tune with our body will speak on what it needs. And I love that you found that it gave you that little edge, that little something there in this season of your life. Speaking of seasons, who are you becoming in this season of your life?
I'm becoming more me. So I turned 44 this year in May, and the word that I got was homecoming. And seriously, this season of my life is returning to myself. I don't like to use the word healing or fix. I'm talking about refining and rediscovering who I really am. So for me, this is my season of doing that. And actually, to add to what we talked about before, another thing that I've done that has been really helpful is list doing things according to my menstrual cycle,
Mhm.
planning around it. So podcast interviews when I'm in ovulation, those kind of things has been very helpful. And I did not
Very
even know about it
interesting.
until I turned 40.
Well, I think the way I see it, is like there's this school of like, there's this message out there, I should say, that's like, oh, women in 40s, and it's like they start being forgotten, and it's like all about hormones and now menopause, and it's like there's not enough information on no, because there's not enough information on to say 40s are for rediscovery. 40s are where your body and your brain are like, listen, what we did so far is not going to work anymore. Like, you've been there, everybody, everything for everyone. You've been doing all that stuff. You didn't have boundaries. You did not know your body. You did not try things that work for your body. You just tried them because you heard they were good. So we're going to use 40s for you to listen to me, right? Like, I swear it's like body is like having a meeting, And it's like,
Yes.
and if you don't, it's going to be very tough. It's going to be very hard. But if you listen, this is not just going to be an amazing season of your life. This is going to set you up to a whole nother life that you didn't even know exists for you if you do this the right way. I feel like that's what the body and the brain in 40s are speaking, right?
Yeah,
And that's why I love these
definitely.
interviews, because I interview women who are there, right? Who are like, this is what works now. And every one of us, almost every one of us, had a part of life when we didn't listen to our body and our brain, and we didn't look at them as assets, right? They started becoming liabilities. And then we were like, okay, 40s are really getting loud. We need to do something
Yes.
here. So I love that. And I love how you're finding, again, that flow of what works for you. It's not, hey, there's this new thing I heard about. Here's this new thing. No, you're like, okay, I'm learning to what works for my body. What would you say makes you feel beautiful and confident today?
It's funny because I think the more I learn to learn about myself and the more I appreciate myself, the more beautiful I feel. So the beauty
Yes.
comes from this sense of confidence. Obviously, I'm also quite vain and like to take care of myself, my skin and all that. But, I think the confidence and really learning to embrace who I am has made me feel more beautiful. Yeah.
I love that. Because, what's the message today? Do all the things to feel good on the to look good on the outside. And if we neglect the inside, if we neglect how we feel on the inside, it's a never ending game. And I'm like you, I take care of myself. I go to, get my facials. I do all of that. I spend money on creams, all of that. But not, that's like a cherry on top, maybe. Not even, I wouldn't even put it there. Like, it's just like, of
Yeah.
course, I'm going to take care of myself because now I understand. I've been working on my value. I've been working on myself. So that comes more out of a respect for myself than anything else, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. So let's move to a little bit of habits. What habits would you say had made the biggest difference in how you feel physically?
I used to be someone that was a habit holic. So I had to have this big checklist. But now I keep things really simple. My thing is writing, walking, gym, fasting. That's
That's
it.
it.
Meditation, if I feel like there is a need. So there's all the other things that I do, but they're more from listening to my body and what I need. So sometimes I do need to sit there in silence. I've got my mala beads here that I meditate with, but it's not an everyday thing. I can't seem to. But yeah, the four things I mentioned before, they're the non-negotiable things must do for me.
Something to really point out to the listeners is simplicity. It has to
Yeah.
be doable for the person. And the word you just said, non-negotiables. I love that. Because I talk about discipline, right? And I tell people discipline is not hard once you understand what the goal is, right? Like we can set goals and it gives us a little dopamine when we set these big goals. But when I understand I have to take full responsibility to create what I want in my life, I have to take responsibility for those goals. They're not just going to come to me just like that. What do I need to change about me? And it doesn't need to be the big, shiny object. It is basics. It is, okay, I'm looking into how I'm eating. I'm tweaking that to work for me. I'm going walking. I'm writing. And then it's like you said, meditation. Okay, well, there's a time for it. There's space for it. I've been creating for women like ourselves, like who are like go-getters, like always on the go. I've been creating walking meditations and meditations when you're doing something else, right? Like getting a facial, and then when you have a mask on, like just zoning in, right? Because
Yeah.
that's how it seems to be working better for us than trying to schedule it. But it's also, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's trial and error. Maybe you've tried different things and then be like, that's not really going to work. Now you found a gym and it works for you and it works at this time. And it's just a beautiful, simple way to make things work long term for you.
Yeah, 100%. And do habit stacking. So, doing something that reminds you to do something else, that's been helpful. Drinking a lot of water is another thing that's been really important because I
Yeah.
really do notice the difference in my brain. When I don't drink enough water, you're kind of a bit like, oh, I'm a bit dehydrated and foggy. So, yeah,
Yes. Oh, it's so important to mention that. Yes, because it seems it's so simple that it's overlooked, right? It's so simple. People are like, oh, which supplement, which nootropic should I get for my brain? I'm like, are you drinking enough water? Like, let's just look into water because it really is.
it
Or
is.
or I'll start yawning. I'm like, why am I yawning? Like I just sleep well. It's water. Okay,
Yeah.
quick fix. So yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Basics. Back to basics. Do you believe that health and or wellness and wealth are connected?
100%. 100%. If you don't look after your health, you can't even think about creating wealth. And also, if you are creating wealth and you're not healthy, you're not getting to enjoy it. So they are very, very interlinked.
Very. I love that answer. Um, what decisions do you make differently when you prioritize your health, or since you've been prioritizing your health and your well-being?
There are a lot of more things that I would not say yes to. So I protect my energy a lot. I'm quite sensitive to energies. So if someone asks me to do something, then and it's not feeling good in my body, then it's a no. So that's how I determine whether I do something or not and how I make my decisions.
Beautiful. And that can change a whole trajectory
Oh,
of where
yes,
you're going.
definitely. Yeah. And if you don't look after your health, your brain's not even functioning properly for you to be able to make good decisions. So that's why it's so important to, drink water, sleep enough, move your body, just like you said, the basics.
The basics, the basics. I tell people all the time, like, you can get the best gadgets and supplements and even superfoods, but if you don't get the basics, you cannot override it. You cannot override it. If you're not getting your sleep, your hydration, if you're not taking time, just a little bit of time for yourself, it just there's no stack that can override
Mm,
that. This is why basics are so powerful. Um,
yeah.
what do you think that ambitious women get wrong about success?
Mm. They think success is all the external stuff that they create or accumulate when the success actually is what's coming from within. You need to work on the inner first to create the external. When you do it from external and then trying to, you know, feel happy after you've accumulated all the things is the wrong way around. Yeah.
It never works. I had a moment to realize that when I sold my studio and I held checks in my hand for the amounts of money that I've never seen before. And I remember this moment because I stood in the bank and I was like, I feel nothing. Like, it's not the
Mm,
check. And then when I got the cash, it was the same thing. I was like, it's not the pay, like, it's not the cash.
yeah.
It's me, right? It's
Yes.
like if I don't feel differently within, seeing that or holding that money or even a check or whatever, credit card, it makes no difference. It's that inner, that's why I always go to wealth starts within. It's that inner work where you create it here first. And I love how you said that it's a lot of women think that it's the external stuff. The truth is, the external is just a projection of what's going on internally. And if we're trying to buy things to make up for something, it's time to just kind of pause and say, what am I doing here? Like, who am I
Yeah.
trying to impress here and why? And then start doing the inner work or unpack what's been going on there.
Yeah.
So you said you're 44. I'm 44 too. What does thriving in your 50s and 60s and beyond look like to you?
I think I want to be those old ladies that give zero fucks and just say what they don't care if they offend anyone. But really,
Love it.
health-wise, I would really just I want to be and still have my energy if I'm blessed with grandkids, be able to actually, look after them, have strength, mobility, those be able to look after myself so that I'm not a burden on other people, still have a sharp mind, eat well, sleep well. Those basic things that we take for granted, and a lot of elder people find it hard to eat, find it hard to sleep, find it hard to move. So really, I just want to have the basic things uh, for my 50s and 60s and beyond.
And
Yeah.
beyond, absolutely. I have one son, and I do the same thing. I always look in longevity, like how old is he going to be when I'm this age? And it's like, okay, how do I want to do it? And you know how our phones are listening to us. I started getting more stuff on Instagram showing me people in 80s and 90s. Even one lady was like 101 running a marathon, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see stuff like this. This is what I
Yeah.
want to be like. This is what I want to see. This is the life I want to have. Like, why should there be limits? If I do my work, if I do my basics, God willing, I will get there and move that way. And this may rub some people the wrong way, but they need to think about this. Before I had my son, I used to not want to have kids. And when people would ask me about kids, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have any. And they're like, some people said, well, who's going to take care of you when you're old? And I'm like, if you're having children for that reason, that's messed up, right? Because my
Yeah.
whole thing is I want to be responsible now for that version of me. And,
Yes.
God forbid, I mean, I was there for my parents when they needed it, but they even pushed away for me not to be there actually for that reason when they were like, I gave you life, I want you to have this life, like enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that was also a driving force for me to say, like, I have a lot of responsibility. And by the way, you were a pharmacist. I'm sure you've seen how much people can rely on that kind of stuff, which has a place, but it shouldn't be a complete substitute forever for most of the things. So it's always been interesting since I met you and heard your story. It's always been interesting to me that you were like, yeah, I think there's a better way to do this because,
Yeah.
pharmacy is a good job. Being a pharmacist is a good job generally. And you were like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna just walk away from this. And I read your post the other day about you not coming back when
Yeah.
you had a thought of whether you're gonna go back or not, and a thought came when you didn't even think consciously about it. And
N No idea what I was in for. 7 years later, here I am doing something
yes, here
completely
we are
different.
teaching women how to be cash flow queens. I love that.
Yes.
So, obviously you start learning to say more no's as we get older. But what are you saying yes to in this next chapter of your life? What are you open to?
I'm open. I'm pretty open to anything because that's how I kind of came to where I am now. But really saying yes to things that feel good for me. So it has
Mhm.
to feel good. It has to be that full body, fuck yes, I want to do this. and not going, oh yeah, that sounds really good. Because I have been in those seasons, especially when you're younger, it's like, oh, that sounds really good, or the next shiny object. I really want to now. I am also really now saying yes to things that are right for myself. Yeah.
You're an author too. You recently published a new book too.
Um, I published the audiobook of Badass Asian Women. Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's the part
yeah,
that you did. I saw that post
yeah.
and I just,
So yeah,
okay, got it. Awesome. That's fantastic. Obviously, writing is a big part of who you are, and I love that because words can change our life.
it
So
can.
obviously you're building a community right now of women who want lazy wealth, and I've been receiving your amazing emails, love your stories. But who are the women that you do love serving the most?
I love serving the women who are like me. And I find that most of the women that I serve, obviously they're not exact replicas of me, but there's parts of them that are like me because they're the ones that are seeking. They're the ones that are looking for other ways because they know that there must be another way. Life can't just be the 9 to 5 and the hustle and the grind and the forever like hamster wheel. And that's when they find me and go, oh, this is possible. So they're the women that I love serving. They're looking and they're ambitious and they're ready to go. Yeah.
I love that. Yes. It's interesting. I've been doing a lot of work on my avatar, and it's the same thing. Like, I love working with women like me that are just like, go, like, just, yeah,
Yeah.
that mindset of like, I want to create what I want to create when I want to create it and how big I want to create it, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no
Exactly.
limits and there's no right or wrong, but I'm going to do it my way. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Let's go back to that time when you transitioned, when you decided after 20 years to leave pharmacy. Do you feel like, looking back, do you feel like you had to really transform yourself in that moment? Do you feel like it's an ongoing journey? Tell me more about the moment of shift.
Mm. I don't think I ever realized how big a shift it would be because when you've been working 20 years under someone, you're not the boss. You're in this employee mindset and moving into doing your own thing. That was a big, big, big shift. And for me, then there was also the share trading component to it as well, where for the last 20 years, I've been working so hard and then suddenly finding this thing where I can just spend like an hour maximum per week and I can make money clicking a few buttons. There was a lot of a lot of like shifts going on in my mind, in my whole world. So I think it's an ongoing journey and it has been. It's just new things come up for me to unlearn or learn. I don't really think there's a specific moment where I went, oh, I've shifted. It's just this
Yes.
ongoing journey. Yeah.
Was it scary at the time?
Not really, because I was on maternity leave when all this happened, because, that's
Right.
what you do when you're on your maternity leave. But so it wasn't scary. And I also am very, I guess, goal orientated in that I wanted to see I could sustain this share trading thing before actually quitting my job to
Got it.
then also pursue like starting a business, doing my podcast, books, whatever else that I was doing throughout this journey. Yeah.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, it's usually not necessarily a moment, but it's like looking back, it's like, what a shift. And I think
Yes.
what you named was that shift of like, so I can earn money this easily?
Yeah.
It can't be this easy. I need to complicate it, right? And then when money
Yes.
kept coming to you, it was probably like, is this really happening? Let me check my bank account again and again. And I
Yeah.
think that again, that's the work. is eliminating all those beliefs that we've had about ourselves, about our capabilities. And, obviously I'm not an Asian woman, but I loved how in the title of your, book, it talks about the cultural influence because I'm from Europe originally, and there was a lot of cultural influence. And I feel like moving to the United States when I was 16 was like taking me out of my roots. Oh my God, I sound like that movie Zoolander. Bang, going back to my roots. Anyway, some people know that one. And it's like throwing me out of my roots, and like it was so turbulent at that time in my life. Like I was so lost. But looking back, it's like, whoa, that was so needed to become this version of me. Yours might not have been as dramatic, but it's still that like pulling you out, like 20 years doing something and then pulling you out of that. That's still huge. That's a huge shift in the nervous system, in the brain. Like the brain is like making all these new connections as to what you're doing,
Yeah.
what's real, what's not. All the things come out. This is what I tell my clients all the time. You don't just set a goal and get to it. You set a goal and then you watch what's coming up. All the shit you need to work through is going to start coming up.
Oh, yeah.
All of that stuff starts coming up. And then you're like, oh, that's an interesting thought, and then you go from there and work it out. And I love that you had the transition from maternity leave and then gave yourself can I sustain this time of kind of like checking it out, which is why not everybody has to, jump and then learn how to swim. There can be a transition period, and you don't have to have all the answers up front. I love what you said about that. And this is why I love this conversation about connecting performance or high performance, health, whatever people want to call it, and wealth, because it's all so intertwined, right? It's all so intertwined. And I think that, like, for you, for example, in your example, like lazy wealth, it's like, okay, I can do it for an hour and make all these zeros. And then it's like, and with that comes taking care of myself. Because to perform for that hour, to make the right decisions almost effortlessly, I have to do all of these other things to make that hour worthwhile. Otherwise, you could be sitting there again 8 hours a day, every day, and not actually make decisions. This is again why we got to go back to basics. And it's like writing, gym, walking, like non-negotiables that then make certain standards in your own business, I believe, non-negotiable. Because the way I see it is our business is only an extension of ourselves. And my business, if it does outgrow me, it's going to collapse to the level of where I'm at. Otherwise, it cannot outgrow me, right? So it's on me to do this. And also the word wealth to me personally is abundance, because to me it doesn't mean, oh, I just have money on my bank account, because like you said earlier, well, if you don't have your health, then you can't enjoy all of that. So like, what's the point? And when I was interviewing Monique on the first interview, she said the same thing. It's like, well, what's the point if I'm not there, if I'm not present? That's why I love this conversation, because wealth is abundant. Wealth is abundance. I have my health, I have my relationships, I am building my wealth, and all of it works together as I keep working on expanding who I am. And obviously it's beautiful. I mean, I know we recently met, but it's just beautiful to watch what has become. And now you can be the Cashflow Queen to teach all other women how to do this. Should they want to? Should they want to go back and work and then take time off and then work for an hour and work, like, that's what it's about. And that's what you were talking about. And I've seen it in your posts as well, in your emails, talking about that freedom, right? The freedom of making the choices. Beautiful, beautiful. Going back to women or that you work with, or women that you see, what are some of the things that women in your community you feel are needing to hear?
That they're more capable than they think they are, because the women around me and women that come into my community, I've had women that are like, I'm scared of numbers, I can't do this. And the ones I love are the ones that go, I can't do this, I'm scared of numbers, but I'm going to jump in and learn anyway. And then they're like, oh, I'm not scared of numbers anymore. Oh, great. That's awesome. So I think women really discount how capable, smart, and intelligent they are, and they don't think they can do something, but they freaking can, and they can work it out. If you can run a family, a household, you can work in a job, you're using your brain. You can do anything. Yeah, I think that's what they need to hear is that don't don't think that you're not enough. You are more than enough and more than capable.
Oh, yes. Yes. So much more capable. I was just hearing, it was a story about a guy, but to the same point, it was some guy, I have to check this information because I just heard it. It was a guy who did 50 Ironman competitions in 50 states in like 50 days or something crazy like that. And it's like you hear that and you're like, I don't think that's humanly possible, but he did it. And I want to go to do research and research their story because even though it's a man, we operate differently, but it still removes another barrier that we're like, I don't think I can do it. Like
Mm,
we set that barrier for wealth, but we also do it for like, oh, I can't go to the gym all the time, or I can't work
mm,
out, or I can't. It's like, okay, let's just find evidence of the contrary, and
mhm.
then let's start building our mindset around that because yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you can. And to
One
me,
thing I,
especially
oh,
women.
yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing I love about going to my PT, I started going to PT about 8 months ago, and they push me. I feel like I'm dying when I'm there, but it also, I think that's really helped with my mindset is when you think you don't have anything left in your tank, there is still something left in the tank because they're like, come on, hold it. And you're like, I cannot, but you can. So it's the same thing, like what you were just saying. Yeah,
It
there's
builds,
always more.
that's why physical is so important because it builds that mindset. And because I ran the fitness studio in Nashville, Tennessee, and in the United States, and it was that. It was like, I can't. And then they do something like, oh, I can do it. And every one of them would walk in there wanting to lose weight. And then within like a month or two, they're like, I feel so strong. I don't even,
Mhm.
there's no better feeling than feeling strong. I'm like, yes. And then, like you said, every time you hold it longer, every time you do one extra rep, anytime you do a little extra something that you thought you couldn't, you just smash that belief in your mind of,
Yeah.
well, maybe I could. And that's enough, right? Like just
Yes.
saying, maybe I could.
Yeah.
What if I
It's
can? It just kind
yeah.
of opens up this whole new level of
The,
possibilities
yeah.
because
Yes.
it's all about beliefs. So,
100%.
one of the things we talked about earlier, well, you and I privately, is that you often go to Singapore with your family. Is travel something that you guys, is traveling a part of your lifestyle? Is travel just kind of like whenever we want to? How do you approach travel?
I love traveling. Before kids, there was a lot more travel, and we stopped during the COVID period and starting to get back into traveling now. So we've got a ski trip booked for Japan over New Year. So traveling is definitely something that we do on the regular. Yeah. Well,
Love
not
it.
that regular, but a couple of times a year
Do you
overseas.
think that it adds to your overall well-being when you travel?
Oh, definitely. It adds to your well-being because you're in a completely different environment where you don't have all the daily responsibilities. So it's kind of just letting go of the baggage, I guess, that you carry around needing to have to do all these things. And in terms of building wealth, knowledge is also wealth. Experiencing other cultures enriches your life, which is wealth, I think, as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, with that said, going back to your non-negotiables, going back to your things that you do regularly, because this is why I'm going there. It's so easy. Well, it's much easier. I shouldn't say it's so easy. It's much easier to establish habits when we're in our own location, right? Like when we're in our own place, it's easy. You've got your little gym routine, you got your fasting going on, all of that. How do you approach that when you travel? I want the listeners to hear that because there's no right or wrong, But a lot of women I find when they travel, they put pressure on themselves to be perfect. And it's different for everyone, right? So I would love to hear how you do it, if you skip it, or if you still do it and if you skip it and do it back. Like, tell me more about how you always go back to your non-negotiables.
Yeah. So when I'm traveling, I do find it a bit harder because we might be out really late at night and then we'll sleep in and then, the timetable, the schedule is just completely out the window. So I'm definitely allow myself to not follow my usual non-negotiables. If I can fit it in, I will try to fit it in. Like going to the gym, my husband and I would, try and get to the gym if we can. But otherwise, we do a lot of walking when we're traveling. So I guess that's one tick. And
Yeah.
with the eating, I'm more like I eat according to how my body feels. So in the old days when I go traveling, I would just be eating and eating and eating. I think also when you get to a certain age, you just can't do that anymore. So I do find that I listen to my body. So whilst I might go, I really want to fit that dessert in, uh, if I can't fit it in, I won't. So I do listen to my body. So that's a non-negotiable. I do listen to my body even when I'm away. I don't stuff myself just because I can.
And I think that part also goes with building yourself and having more self-respect now than we did in our 20s,
Mm,
because I just refuse to do that to my body. Like
yeah,
in the 20s, you're willing to pay the price. Like if I feel like crap for the next 3 days, that's fine. It's totally worth this cheesecake,
yeah.
right? But now it's like, it's just not worth it. Like, why would I do that to myself? And that's what is listening to my body, because my body's like, that's not going to turn out good. That's not going to turn out.
No,
Don't,
no.
just don't.
Yeah, because when you do pay for it.
Oh, you pay for it. That's what 40s are for. 40s are gonna bill you for everything you do, and they're like, nah, think twice
Yeah,
before you do that. Yes,
yeah.
I wanted to touch up on that because I find that women put pressure on themselves to either try to do it perfectly or have a hard time getting back to their habits. But I assume, based on what you just said, is when you get back, you just slowly go back
Yeah.
to your routine.
Probably take about a week to kind of settle back into everything and get back into it, but definitely get back into the routine afterwards. Um, I used to be, I used to feel like a failure if I didn't do it when I'm away. And then now it's just like, you know what? There's no point putting all that stress on yourself when you're actually on holidays and trying to have fun and not be stressed.
Yes, yes. And this is a very important message for women out there, I believe, because of that, what you just said, trying to be perfect. There's a difference in striving for excellence and striving for perfection, right? There's this ease about you that I hear, which makes sense for the cash flow easy queen, right? Easy, lazy wealth. But there's this how do I even call it? There's this ease about it, yet seriousness about it. And what I mean is, I'm not putting unnecessary pressure on myself, but
Yeah.
I also have things that are non-negotiables. They don't come from pressure. They come from who I believe I am today and who I believe I'm becoming. That's kind of what I'm hearing here a lot, is that ease, but still seriousness about achieving certain things in life. And
Yes.
there's a flow there that I can see,
Yeah.
and I love that about you. And
Yeah.
we need that because we can't always be rigid. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. Listening to our body, listening to our brain is essential, I believe, for long-term overall health, which to me, health mental comes first. I talk to people about, I mean, what I do is everything like nutrition, sleep, hydration, exercise, all of that. But to me, it's about mental health because I was at a point years ago when I was physically fittest. I competed in bodybuilding. Like, you could see a six pack and everything, but mentally, emotionally, it was a wreck. And it's like,
Mm,
never worth it. And the other way, physical follows. When we work on ourselves mentally and emotionally, and we get that inner peace, and we start deciding from who we are, rather than saying yes to everything and everyone, there is that piece, and there is still that, again, seriousness about where we're going without the additional pressure that doesn't need to be there. And I think that that's why for you there's it's shown as a flow, because it's like I just do these things. This is who I am. But it takes me a week to get back, so it's a week. Like it's
Yeah.
no pressure to be perfect. Love that. It
Yeah.
seems like a lot of women go through the same journey of, you know,
I think so.
dismembering the beliefs about who they are, what they should do, what they should say yes to, and all of that. So back to cash flow queen. You're teaching women obviously how to build wealth in a so-called lazy way. If someone wanted to learn from you, where would we send them first?
The best place would be to send them to my website, the Cashflow Queen program. So that's do you want the website?
Sure,
But that
speak
would
it,
be
but we'll have it in the
yeah,
comments.
yeah, it's kakilee.com/cashflowqueen, and you'll find all the information about Cashflow Queen. It is one-on-one time with me, 3 months where I handhold you to teach you how to fish because I don't believe in feeding you stocks and telling you what to do. We build the strategy that suits your life. And also, I teach you how to fish so that you can find your own stocks because I don't want my students to rely on me. I want them to go fly, my pretties,
Yes,
after the 3 months. And if you
I
really
love
need me,
that.
then yes, we'll continue or can come back whenever. But yeah.
I love that. One of my clients said, she said, "You're a terrible business owner," and I mean that as a compliment because you gave me everything you need. So that's your too. Like you're not the
Yes.
greatest business
No.
owner because yeah, I don't want to be the crutch for my clients. I love that you actually said that because that speaks on your values right away. On hey, I'm going to teach you how to fish. I'm here if you need help again choosing the right tools, but you know how to fish. You know.
Yeah.
So it's just as
Yeah.
simple as that. Love that. You might have
Self-responsibility.
already answered this, but you've built your success. You're obviously still building it. You're also built vitality and longevity. What do you know now that you wish every woman of your caliber, every ambitious woman understood before she spends year chasing achievement?
Listen to your body and listen to your inner voice. They're the two most important things because when women are chasing for achievements and they're not listening to themselves, most of the time they get burnt out, then they get frustrated, things don't work because they're listening to everything else outside. When you listen to your body, when you listen to your inner voice, you have everything inside of you to do and create your achievements. So they're two very important things that they need to they
A
need to
note on
listen to.
that is listening to your body is different from listening to the voice that says, I'm too tired to do that. I'm
Yeah.
too this or that to do that, right? So
Yes.
listening to your body and listening to your brain. And I believe that body's speaking to us all the time. And literally, like we
Hmm.
said, little adjustments, like I can tell right away if I'm slightly dehydrated. Tuning into that to me comes before anything. Well, it doesn't, you don't have to stop living your life to dedicate to that. It kind of goes hand in hand with everything, but it's also very important and cannot be overlooked. I have people working above me, so hopefully there's no extra noise here, but what are
Yeah.
you working on these days?
To be honest, not a lot at the moment. I am quite lazy. So right now it's my I do my share trading. I'm actually looking at building another share trading program because I've been experimenting, but that's kind of still a little while away at the moment. But yeah, right now it's just me chilling out and having space for myself whilst I, still do my usual businessy stuff. But that's kind of where I'm at the moment, not doing a lot.
Love that. Why? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It's seasons, right? We don't never do anything and we should always do everything, right? There's seasons, and you're in this season of like, you know what, I'm just gonna let my brain space out. I'm gonna focus on me. I'm gonna focus on the family, and that's when the ideas even start flowing as well, right? I
Yeah.
love that. Beautiful. Thank you for being the guest today. I have totally enjoyed this conversation and learning more about you. And we will have everything in the comments, ladies. If you want to connect with Kakili, she's also on Facebook. You can connect there, and you can take it from there. And if you'd like to grab my new offer, 3-minute energy reset toolkit, where you can get more sharp and energized throughout the day and stay on top of your game, I'll leave that in the comments as well. Thank you once again, Kakili, and thank you.